Everybody, John the Other here. And I want to talk briefly about a video of mine that got taken down. Well, I mean, I took it offline, but it was because I had a hate speech community, YouTube community guidelines strike that was going to hit my channel and possibly take my channel down. And the video that had this hate speech strike, I will say I've certainly learned my lesson, was called Don't Be Transsexual. Now, the community guidelines, of course, are very vaguely worded, and it's very hard to determine exactly what is inside and outside the bounds of acceptable conduct on YouTube, because they really kind of don't tell you. It's all a bit of a blurry gray area. But my video called, which got this strike, was called Don't Be Transsexual, and it said the following things, which I now understand to be hate speech, and I'll never say again. So I'm just going to outline for you where not to color outside the lines. So my video talked about people who believe themselves to be in the wrong sexual body. You know, they're biologically male and they think they want to be female, or maybe they're biologically female and they want to be male. And so this is a source of great distress and great anxiety and great self-image problems, and it causes all kinds of self-conceptual issues in people's lives. And so, of course, they believe the best thing to do in many cases is go on a course of hormone therapy to change their physical characteristics to more closely resemble the sex that they actually aren't. I pointed this out. And then eventually go and get surgery to have their gonads either removed or reshaped to be a surgical facsimile of the sex that they would prefer to be, that they in fact aren't. And I pointed out that people who go and complete this transition, who complete a transition, are 20 times more likely to commit suicide than any other group on the planet Earth. 20 times more likely to commit suicide. So it's kind of a catastrophic choice that people make. They put themselves in a group that is 20 times more likely to commit suicide. And of course, not just more likely, they in fact do commit suicide. But in addition to committing suicide much more often than anybody else, you're talking about a group of people who are biologically sterile, and who, because of the constant influx into their bodies of artificial hormones and other drugs to keep themselves on the course of what they think they want to be, their bodies are wreckage, and their minds are basically clouded with a wash of hormones, and the quality of a person who has transitioned, the quality of life is actually quite terrible. Now, I pointed out all this out in my ignorant, my stupid, foolish, cis white male brain. I thought that saying don't make this choice unless you absolutely have to, unless your situation is so dire there's no other option, don't end up in the group that commits suicide at 20 times higher rate and who has this catastrophic physicality. I thought advising people against that was, you know, like, maybe I'm going to save some people from misery, save them from an early grave, save some people from suicide. Stupid cis white male. I'm such an idiot. Turns out, no, my advice was hate speech. And in fact, saying that putting a child, a prepubescent child, onto hormone therapy that makes them sterile for the rest of their life, saying that that is the wrong thing to do, that that's an egregious abuse of children, that's hate speech. I'm such an idiot. I thought I was trying to prevent, you know, child abuse, but turns out it's hate speech. So I'm just glad that you can all learn from my lesson. And in fact, if your child is a boy and even slightly has any interest in wearing dresses, rather than just let them play that out, let them engage in that and don't medically interfere with them and let them just resolve their own identity after a couple of years, which it turns out 80% of them do. No, you should immediately put your child onto hormone blockers and interfere with their physical development, make them sterile for the rest of their life, and put them in the group who is 20 times more likely to kill themselves. That's the moral thing to do, and that's in conformance with YouTube's community guidelines. So hopefully this one won't get a strike. This is the opposite message. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.